Oh, I love the sound of that. Elliot. Elliot's here before anyone even shows up. Hi, Elliot. Nice to hear from you. Good of you to be here. Bart Simpson. Hello, Bart. How's it going? Hope you're keeping cheerful. Ty Leeds. Nice to see you here, Ty Leeds. Okay, there you go. 7 people here. Ty Leeds, name on the trophy. That sounds good. I like the sound of that. Oh. Sean Moore. Kev Mack, have you heard the news, Eddie? How old is this news? Because I watched the news not so long ago. Something just happened. Okay. Kev Mack, no more 12,800 in the bank. Okay, we're going to talk about this in a moment. 25 people here. Okay, well, it's Wednesday evening. It is November the 18th. It's 10 o'clock at night, just gone. This year is, it's going to be over pretty soon. I think we'll all be glad to see the back of it. Hopefully 2021 is better. And Britain is in lockdown now. All as I know is that right now, at this moment in time, I am not allowed to leave my country. I can go go outdoors, but I can't leave the country. There's no airplanes, unless, of course, I hijack one. No, that was a joke. I'm not really planning on hijacking a plane. I was thinking more like, one of those dinghies, bunging those fellas who are coming over in dinghies across the channel, maybe bunging them a few quid and borrowing theirs. Okay. Let's see. Elliot, Thailand HQ, 40,000 baht minimum. Okay, for 2 weeks. Good news. Spencer Healy, good news. Thailand is back almost. Are you quite sure about that, Spencer? Because it don't really look like that way to me. Not really. Mr. Mitch, nice to hear from you. Nice to hear from you, mate. Ivor Chopper. Jesus, that's an imaginative name, yeah. I used to have a chopper, in the early 70s. One of those bikes that kids had in those days. Just Google chopper 1970s, and hopefully you'll come up with that, and not Pornhub. Okay, let's see. Good evening, Eddie. Flores is here. Hello, Ed. Chris Styles, Sky Luke, hey Jose. Great to hear from you all. 141 people watching up to now. This is pretty good. And I haven't even said anything worthwhile yet. Okay, no, this is somebody just mentioned, there's good news on the way. It don't look like that way to me. Not really. I mean, Southeast Asia, our favorite Southeast Asian countries, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. Very little's been heard of Vietnam. As far as somebody says it's open, someone else says it's closed. There's not really much news going on about that, about whether we can go to any of these countries. Cambodia, I believe you can go to Cambodia, but it's not easy. I mean, if I was to get a direct flight from here to Cambodia, well, there's no flights anyway. I've never flown direct to Cambodia yet. I've always gone via China or Bangkok, And as for Thailand, well, there's various visas floating around. There's various visas, floating around right now. There is the STV visa, which has been around for a few weeks. That's the special tourist visa. That's the one where you can, you can go there for 90 days. Saying it's this 14-day quarantine that's putting everywhere off. It's not good news. There's no real solid good news right now. Look at Dubai. Paulie 17. Hi Ed, where would you go if you could go anywhere? I'd probably plumb for my favourite Southeast Asian favourites, Vietnam or Cambodia or Thailand, that region. Maybe include a few others. But no one's going anywhere right now. Paul Jones, what's going on with the Thai visa? Well, listen, what I want to talk about is the confusion of all of this. Doesn't take much to confuse me at my age, believe me. But we've had these various, I think they're false alarms, really. There's these special tourist visa which comes along. As soon as you hear the news of all of this, people get a little bit excited about it. This is the real breakthrough. It's not really a breakthrough because these special tourist visas end up allowing maybe, 1,000 or 1,200 Chinese people in. they found that no one's really applying for these visas. But now there's a new visa out called the TR visa. It's basically the Thai visa. I don't really know why it's called a TR. It's, it should be called a TV, but it's the Thai visa anyway. And this is the one where you can go there for 60 days, but there's a lot of very, very strict regulations with it. You have to have 500,000 baht in your bank account, not in baht, your own personal bank account, which would be in dollars or pounds. In terms of pounds, that will be 12,800 UK pounds, about 17,000 US dollars. You've got to have that in your bank for 6 months and leave it there for 6 months without touching it to prove that you're not skint. You're not one of these people who lives on the breadline, hands them out. You've got dough. Thailand wants people, who've got money. Now, the reason that they want people who've got money, basically, is that this is such a dreadful time. And if you fall ill or worse, die abroad, they want to know that you can afford to be looked after in hospital. They want to know that you can afford a funeral. Oh, geez, how crazy does that sound? Tony Edwards, right, so getting back to our movie, not this, yeah, okay. Those savings count. J Mac, it got scrapped today, which this £12,800. I'm not so sure that it did. Because there's plenty of little, Thai visa channels on YouTube right now. There's a couple. There's that nice lady who does one quite regularly. There's another lady who I seen today. Can't remember what she's called, but this is where the confusion starts. She said with the new the new TR visa, you can go there for 60 days, but they've scrapped the 12,000, the 500,000 Thai baht. They've scrapped this now. But then I noticed in the comments section, someone said you're misleading because they haven't scrapped it. And you never know what's going to happen. I mean, things can happen in 5 minutes here. I might start talking about this in this live stream at 10 o'clock at night. By 11 o'clock at night, there's a whole different bunch of rules come out. Kevin Mack, Thai embassy has updated it. Just proof of funds for trip. Well, this is news to me, but it could all change tomorrow. Look, I mean, right now, things are looking really dire. The thing, it's not this money in the bank that is really putting off, although it will put off some people. Let's just question why they need to really know all of this. I mean, what business is it of anyone's of how much money you've got in the bank and how long you've left? Well, for the reasons I've just said, they want to know that you're not skint. If the worst comes to the worst, and who knows what the worst will be, then you can afford to bail yourself out. They don't want you being a burden on their economy. And that's quite understandable, really. Jeffrey Wood, the money is not the problem. The 2-week lockdown is the killer. Yeah, now this is it. The 2-week lockdown, these state quarantine hotels. Now, I've heard that you have to spend a minimum of 38,000 baht for the 2-week stay. 38,000 baht is about, what is that? It's about £1,000 in English money for 2 weeks. Slightly less than £1,000, not much less. For 2 weeks. That's not cheap, but it's not particular. If it includes absolutely everything, then it's not particularly expensive. It's more than I would expect to pay if I went there normally. But here's the thing that I've heard, and this is the confusion. I think this relates to the second visa, the TR one, that not only do you have to obviously stay in this 2-week quarantine hotel, which will put most people off anyway, but you've then got to undergo another 14 days of post-quarantine. And what this post-quarantine means is that you've got to tell them which hotel or whatever condo or whatever you're staying in for another 2 weeks. So it's a total of about 28 days overall. And also this business of they want to track you with apps, and wherever you go, they want to track you with apps. Oh, look, he's in a bar today. He's in a go-go bar now. Oh, look, that go-go dancer's getting too up close and personal. Jesus, I mean, this sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, being tracked with apps wherever you move. I seem to recall an episode of Black Mirror that was something like that. And, it didn't, it's not my way of living personally. But you're right, the 2 week lockdown, and especially if that really comes about, the 2 weeks post, sorry, the 2 weeks post quarantine, it's just going to be a no. Anyone who goes there anything between 2 weeks and a month, or maybe even, yeah, maybe even 6 weeks or whatever, it's just simply going to be put off by all of that. They're not going to go. So I don't think it really will be. I don't think it really is. It's nothing's cut and dry just yet. Okay, who else is here? Ben McGrath, when do you think Thailand will open to mass tourism? What's your best guess? Well, I don't know. I mean, you may as well ask how long is a string of noodles. You know what I mean? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how bad this is going to get. But the fact is that they have, they have increased. I think on the first phase, this is where it all gets a little bit confusing. I think on the first phase of the STV, they've now added more countries to the list of countries that can actually go there, low risk countries. Well, ours, Brazil is amongst them. Ours, Brazil are low risk. It doesn't, I've heard that the COVID rate, sorry, I don't want to say that. Shouldn't say that word. Wash my mouth out with soap. Is dreadful. But countries like Brazil, Australia is amongst the 25 countries now on the list. As far as I know, Australians can't even leave their own country. Well, we can't leave our own country at this moment in time. But of the 25 countries on the list, the way I see it, the UK and USA are not amongst them, because Britain's got the worst virus rates in Europe right now. We're going to be like the lepers of the world, really. I mean, who's going to want to let us go there? The UK Thailand is not welcoming the UK at this moment in time. It really isn't. Sick Buffalo. That I've heard the next 2 weeks, the 12,800 will be scrapped. Well, someone just said that it's already been scrapped, and someone else says that you don't know who to believe. If you are planning on going to Thailand, then really what you have to do is contact your Thai embassy and get the facts from there. I know it's not always easy. Have you ever tried phoning up an embassy? I have. It's bloody nightmare. You may as well try and contact the dead. But you never know. But things are changing every 5 minutes, really. Okay, what's this now? Thanks for that super chat, by the way, whoever that was. Not sure who that was. Maradub, no, it's 15 nights quarantine, but then you have to give them an address where you'll go. They don't check it, though, don't they? Well, Okay, all right. Pal 555, um, you are entitled to your opinion. Uh, get myself a 20 stone of a company. Really, really? I'd rather bloody snuggle up to a Rottweiler. Okay, apparently the vaccine has 10% failure rate. Even if you are vaccinated, I doubt they would take the chance of letting you in without quarantine. Think about it. Yeah, you're right. You're probably right. This is not going to happen anytime soon. It's not as if everything is going to change tomorrow and we're all going to be on a flight to Thailand or Cambodia or Vietnam. It's not going to happen anytime soon. The peak season in Thailand actually begins right now, around about this time of November or in the next week or so. The peak season goes from around about this time in November to maybe March. Or you may say it goes all the way up to Songkran in April, but this is the time really when the tourists should be flooding into Thailand. And it's not going to happen because it's mainly the quarantine. The quarantine is going to put most people off. I heard, who was that? Yeah. Okay, leave go. Okay, here's a fiver towards your visa, mate, or a 4 pack of speckled then. That's about right. That will get me a 4 pack of speckled then. I've got a 4 pack in the fridge, and that's about right. Cheers for that, mate. Anyway, this, by the way, this is Cronenberg right now. Somebody sent me a message here the other day to say, whatever happened to Cronenberg? I started drinking Cronenberg after seeing your live stream, and now I'm hooked on it, but you never seem to drink it anymore. This is the one and only Crony 664. Beautiful stuff. I go through phases when I prefer either Stella or Crony. Crony seems to be more full-bodied, and right now I'm in the Crony phase. I've still got Stella, but Crony's for me right now. But Speckled End's coming up later. Lee Keats, Thai currency heading for a big fall. Happy days ahead. It seems strange, when people talk about good value with the Thai currency. Well, it's not good value for the startups, nowhere near as what it used to be. But it'd be nice if I could actually be there and actually take advantage of that. Okay, now here we're getting serious. Vince Bill's Thai government extended emergency measures all January 2021 for their own people. Yeah. Now, I've heard about this. Emergency measures. Now, I heard on a news report that they've introduced these emergency measures. To what extent? Is this the same as what was? It's not, I don't think it's the same as what was brought in March when they gradually started closing all the bars down. I don't think they've done that. But having said that, most of those bars are closed anyway, aren't they? They've gone out of business. Jonathan Jerton, I think 6 months they will open up. 6 months is a long way away. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if we know that this peak season in Thailand is going to be a complete disaster. I mean, it's just not going to happen. There's going to be no peak season. But I kind of wonder if things do start moving in 6 months from now, they will be entering into their low season, their rainy season. But it'd be interesting to see if all the people who would have gone there this winter time, but obviously who can't go there, I wonder if they will if there will be a boom in the low season. It'd be interesting. Strange things are happening all the time. Let's see. Sick buffalo and Iceland. There's a vaccine coming. I am pumped. Travel finally has a future again. Uh, yeah, but this is a thing about this vaccine. I mean, how many people have you met who are actually enthusiastic about this vaccine? I've met more people who are suspicious. I meet people every day, where I live, and so many people, not necessarily people who travel much, but so many people say, well, I wouldn't take that vaccine. I wouldn't trust it. I'm not taking any vaccine. Well, more people are hostile to the vaccine there than anything else. I shouldn't be saying that word, by the way. Oh, geez, that got me in trouble with YouTube last week. Okay, Chris Williams can't go to get to Pattaya this year. Been for a month for the last 5 years, a high season, wet and cold here in England. Nothing to look forward to. You've got next year to look forward to, but I wouldn't count on it. Good luck to you, mate. Anyway, I know we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. I mean, this lockdown, is fairly dreadful. By the way, we're in lockdown here in the UK right now. We have been for a couple of weeks. The lockdown is due to end on December the 2nd. That is 2 weeks today. Now, it's not as bad as the last lockdown. The schools and colleges are still operating. People are going to work during this lockdown. I don't know that many people who are not going to work. Hardly anyone was going to work during the last one. So it's not as severe as the last lockdown. But the pubs, the restaurant, the bars, and whatever here, it all closed. I mean, November will be a quiet month in the UK anyway. But the lockdown is supposed to be lifted in 2 weeks from now. Right, I haven't met one person, not one person, who actually believes that the UK lockdown will end in 2 weeks. Everyone thinks that it's just going to go on and on, maybe even wipe out the whole of Christmas. I mean, that won't mean much to me. I mean, I don't celebrate Christmas anyway, load of crap. But, families want to see each other at Christmas time. So it's not looking good. I am only hoping that by the beginning of January, I can be on an airplane out of here. I still haven't got my money back from the last flight from January, but it won't be Thailand. It will not be. I will not be getting the flight to Bangkok unless a miracle happens in the next couple of months. I'm looking at going maybe somewhere, somewhere a bit not that far. Mexico was a strong contender, which is a long haul, option, and obviously that's open. But I'm not so sure that I trust Mexico. I mean, how is it that the rest of the world has got, this terrible virus, and yet they're letting anyone come in and out? I'm sure that the figures for this virus in Mexico are far greater than what they're letting on about. And if I was to get that virus there, would I be insured for it? I'd have to sort that out. And also, if I was stranded in Mexico, that wouldn't be good. That would not be good. If that country locked down eventually, the worst came to the worst, then I'm a long way from home. I am a long way from home from Mexico. At least if I went somewhere European, and the flights were cancelled, it's possible for me to cross. Well, I think it would be possible for me to get home by land. It's possible. I've done stranger things. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so 472 people in the chat. Hi to you all. Okay, yeah, great to have you here. Thanks for those couple of super chats. I'm drinking Kronenberg. It's Wednesday night. I've kept these live streams going for many months now, since the summer, simply because I'm not traveling right now. I'm not making videos, which I'd love to be able to do. That gives me a real buzz. But I've managed to keep the channel, stay connected with people each week simply through these live streams. And I've had a good response. There's 469 people in the chat right now. That ain't bad. When I upload these things to YouTube, I've had some great viewing figures. I've had 10,000, 12,000. I think I had one on 14,000, 160. Yeah, I've uploaded these videos to YouTube. They've done all right. So I'm really thankful to everybody who's been tuning into these and watching them when I upload them, because it's kept me. It's a way of staying connected with the people who watch this YouTube channel. Really thrilled about that. Thanks to everybody. Richard, I don't think about going anywhere without the vaccine. Well, that sounds sensible to me, but I think that is going to be a long way away. I think it's going to be a long way away. Hey, Jose, hey, Eddie, will you no longer go to Mexico anymore after lockdown ends? The thing is, I mean, the more I see about it, I wouldn't trust that place. I wouldn't trust it. I just think that they've got a lot more. Somebody just mentioned somebody who's got the virus there in Mexico. I think they've got a lot more of it than what they're letting on about. At least with a shorter haul country, I'd be closer to home if the worst comes to the worst. I mean, that's a long way away to get locked down, especially in a country that I'm not really that familiar with. Sean Moore, the cheaper ASQs, is that authorised? I'm not even sure that qualifies, but something to do with the quarantine hotels anyway. Here, they're filling up until January, but more hotels are being added. There's all kinds of balmy things going on, isn't there right now? You can quarantine in a golf course, so at least you can walk around the golf course for a couple of weeks. I'm not knocking it, I'm not into golf, but if you're into golf, then that could well be an option. Let's see. Richard, I saw a video that is a good time to open a bar in Pattaya at the moment. Would you? No, I wouldn't open anything. I would have no ambition to buy a property or open a bar or any sort of business right now. I just wouldn't do it. It's just such an uncertain time. I'm pretty sure there's an awful lot of bar owners in Thailand right now who regret buying a bar. They're probably struggling big time to make money out of it. They really are. Oh, heavens above. Yeah, so the fact is that this is a dreadful time. I mean, it's what's going on now. All I know is it's not my kind of travel. 500 people in the chat. Thank you. Terrific. Great to have you here. This is not my kind of travel right now. All this red tape is, it's crazy. I was thinking about this the other day, about over the years, how easy travel has been for me, and probably for many of you people as well who've been to these countries, maybe taking a few months out and hop from Vietnam to Cambodia to Laos or Thailand or wherever you've been. You see, the average man in the street who's never been to these countries gets the wrong impression. And people my age who live sad lives, going down to the social club with their extra. What's that? Oh, Jesus Christ. That's some bad news from a newspaper that just popped up there. Yeah, I mean, people don't get travel, but the fact is, I was thinking about it the other day, over the years, how easy travel has been. Your average man in the streets who's never been to these countries thinks that they're dangerous and, how can you border hop between countries? It's been so easy over the years. booking a flight from Vietnam to, to Thailand or vice versa or whatever. I've traveled all around South America. I once spent 6 months traveling from Brazil down to Argentina, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, the Amazon, back into Brazil. Magnificent. I'm contrary to all the people told me about it. I never had any problem. Never had a single problem. I took public transport. I took 20-hour overnight bus journeys to Argentina and Brazil and rickety old buses through Bolivia. Never ever had a problem. Not one single problem. A couple of bloody arguments with bus companies and taxi drivers, but that's not a serious problem. And if you've got a good head on your shoulders and you plan things and you've got enough finances, and and you're careful and you're cautious and you don't trust people, it's really, really fine. But really, when I look back on that, it's amazing that I've done that sort of travel without any problems. What's frustrating me right now is that this simply isn't possible anymore. Right now, at this moment in time, if I do get abroad, the chances of me border hopping or going to another country, it's just totally out of the question right now. It's totally out of the question. How can you go to Thailand for a month and then hop to hop to Vietnam, get a quick flight to Vietnam? It's been a doddle in the past. I mean, your average man on the street wouldn't understand this. I mean, I remember, some years ago when I traveled to Central America, I had a terrific time, and then I went back to back to one of the pubs near where I live, and I seen this guy who, he really liked his pubs, and he liked his darts, and he liked his meat throws and all the other boring things that people do. And I said to him, he said to me, he said, I haven't seen you for a long time. Where have you been? I said, well, I've actually been to, I started off in Mexico, and then I went into Belize, and then I flew to Costa Rica and Nicaragua, and then I eventually ended up back in Mexico again. And his reply was, and when did you have this dream? You see what it is? It's no dream. I mean, I really did that. A lot of people who go to these bloody awful social clubs and live bland and boring lives, they don't get the likes of you and me who want to go traveling and want to have a bit of adventure in life and want to see these places. And even the little minor things, the bus journeys, across country, they live in your mind forever. I remember forever taking that psychedelic painted light aircraft from Costa Rica over the volcanoes into Nicaragua and landed in a beautiful town in Nicaragua and staying with a Nicaraguan family during my stay there. Absolutely fantastic. You'll remember things like that. What's frustrating me is that I might end up like having one of those bland and boring bloody lives like the people who go to my local social clubs. It's just not me. I should be on a plane. I should be out of here, man. It's, oh, God, Jesus Christ. I'm going crazy. Fiji Islands, maybe, Ed. Fiji Islands. I go to bloody, Jesus Christ. I'd go to Benidorm if I could right now. "10 minutes expert. Any guys on this chat ever get laid other than Thailand?" I have. Yeah, okay. That's enough of that. Okay. Richie, what about an ASQ massage parlour? Somehow I don't think that's going to be allowed. Andy Johnson, 3 barrels on offer, 13 quid. I got a litre bottle for about 16.99 last week. Beautiful. I really do like the 3 barrels. Okay. Anyone thinking of going to Thailand on a single anti-tourist visa? It looks like they've changed. Looks like they changed 12,800 in the bank. Now only have to show sufficient funds, whatever that means. Mate, Joe, things are changing every 5 minutes. I was looking at this on the internet today, and they insisted on this amount of money in the bank. Now, this wouldn't be a problem for a lot of people. I'm not telling anyone what I've got in the bank. I'm not revealing my bank details to anyone. But some people cannot leave that amount of money in the bank. For a period of 6 months. It seems bizarre that you have to actually, supply a bank statement to the, to the embassy or the tourist, people. the visa people. It seems absolutely bloody crazy that you have to do that. But the fact is, a lot of people who travel to these countries, probably got a lot more money than what you realise. They're not all the backpacker types. I met lots of people, guys my age who sound like they're absolutely worth a fortune on So I mean, a lot of people would have that amount of money. But it just seems a little bit cheeky for them to actually ask. We want evidence of how much money you've got. But then the reason for it is that they want to know that you're not skint. That if the worst comes to the worst, in terms of funeral expenses, as an extreme example, or severe illness, if the worst comes to the worst, when you're in Thailand, then they're not going to have to dig into their own pockets in order to bail you out. You've got enough funds in order to look after yourself. I don't know. Nothing is there. Mark Franklin, I sent copies of my bank statement to the Thai. Yeah, well, good for you, mate. Anyway, it seems to me that with all these hoops and hurdles and confusing visas and rules that are changing every 5 minutes, it's changing so much that you couldn't even, keep up with them. It just seems to me that the only people who would really, 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 really make sure that they would, no matter what the hurdles, they would jump through them all, would be the if guys who've got a family out there, maybe a missus, maybe a kid, maybe 2 kids out there. Somebody messaged me the other day to say he's got to get out there to see his wife and child. Of course, you'd have to. No matter what hurdles are put in front of you, you've got to overcome them. You've got to go and see your family over there, and if it means staying in a bloody hotel prison for 2 weeks and then being followed around for another couple of weeks and proving that you've got this amount of money in the bank and everything, they've got to do that. But it's different for me because I don't have a family in Thailand. I go out there to have fun. And it just seems to me that all the fun is just being totally zapped out of it. It really, really has. 2 weeks in a quarantine hotel, that'd take me 2 months to recover from that. That'd put me in such a negative frame of mind. What's that? Nico Greco, 2 years prison in Bali for drinking alcohol. Bye. No, I went to Bali. I thought it was a load. I didn't like it. But alcohol, yes, alcohol aplenty in Bali. I don't know where you got that from. Oh, bloody good stuff. Stella, no, Cronenberg. So let's see, 548 people in the chat. Thank you for that super chat, whoever that was last time. I really do appreciate that. Okay. I know every week I say I'll keep this live stream brief, but we always end up going on for about an hour. I really, really do appreciate once again everyone tuning in, because like I say, we're all locked down, we're all miserable. So let's come together and be miserable together. It's allowed. There's no shame in being miserable if you've got a reason for it. Okay, let's see now. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, whatever. So let's have a little look in the chat here. Thailand bound, nice to hear from you. Hope all's well. Any Peter Blue, any pork pie pie tonight? Well, it could be possible. It could be possible. Okay, Phil Roberts, zero alcohol allowed in the ASQ hotels as well. It's deprived of alcohol for 2 weeks. I've been climbing a bloody wall. Jesus, you never know. It might do me good. It might do me good. I might come out Tito. I might come out of there, hit a restaurant for the first time and say, give me a cappuccino. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Sean Lynch, have you ever thought of the priesthood? Definitely not, mate. Definitely not for me. No, don't even get me started on all that load of crap. Okay. David Babes, you have mental health issues, Ed? Not until I read that one. Okay, Bottom and Bonnie, 25. What about Bonnie? Nice to hear from you, mate. 25-year sentence for selling alcohol in Afghanistan. Is that something to do with, is that bootleg or, black market? I'll get some lovely, delightful comments now. Eddie, do you get your shirt from the bins? Do you get your shirt from the bins? No, I actually buy them. My Amazonas T-shirt that comes all the way from, what is that? Is that Colombia? Is that Colombia, is it? I don't know. Jesus. Some of these are donkeys years old, some of these T-shirts. Thanks for that super chat, whoever that was. Okay. Richard, Bali was full of backpackers spending on. This is the important issue, really. We all know that Thailand is changing. They're really trying to phase out the backpackers. I mean, it was great years ago when you first heard of these countries. So, but a lot of people, young people, said fantastically. You go there, and I'm repeating myself here, but that bloody cringy saying that they used to say. Take a grand out there and live like a king for 6 months. Absolute load of rubbish. £1,000 for 6 months, even donkeys years ago, that was rubbish. Do you seriously think you're going to be staying in 5-star hotels and riding rounds in limousines for what 20, 40 quid a week, something like that? Load of crap. But it is true that they're trying to fade out the cheaper backpacker types. You can't blame them. You cannot blame a country. They want to develop. But strange things are happening in Thailand right now. Very strange things are happening right now. I don't want to get into politics. I'm not going to start talking about that, but you probably have seen the news. It's it doesn't look good. Let's see. See, there's a few people. Sick Buffalo and Iceland. We backpackers get the most value for our dollar. Bali is amazing. There's no shame in being a backpacker. This is when I first heard of people traveling. I mean, when I was a kid, I never traveled anywhere. I didn't come from a wealthy background. I used to hear about people going on holiday for 2 weeks. But then I think it was about the 1990s that I heard of people actually going to these countries and staying for months and months on end. And the way that they were able to do that is simply because those countries were so damn cheap. And I always thought, Jesus, that sounds cool. That sounds great. The idea of going to those places for months on end, give me a bit of that. That's what I want to do. So I've done a lot of that. And obviously you try and keep the cost down as much as you can. So there's no shame in being a backpacker. But the fact is, you look at it from the country's perspective. Thailand is the best example right now. They want the wealthier tourists. They don't want to be poor. They don't want cheap Charlies coming in. You know what I mean? That's what They want people who've got money. Okay, Sean Moore, where is the pork pie? Oh, soon as you asked. The pork pie is here with a nice bit of mild cheddar cheese. It's a Melton Mowbray from Tesco's this time, okay? Well, don't worry, a bit more. Don't worry, another burn. I'll be getting very, very peckish soon. Cape Verde Island, good. I've not really heard too much about Cape Verde. I mean, years ago, where it seems to be one of those places to be tipped for people buying properties, the real up and coming place. I believe it's in a similar vicinity to the Canary Islands, Grand Canary, Tenerife, those places. But as far as I know, Cape Verde is never really caught on. Well, that's the way it seems to me. I mean, I've never heard of anyone going there. Yeah, so these 25 countries that are welcome to take advantage of the STV, the special tourist visa. A couple of countries. Who's on there? Some bizarre countries. Cuba's on there. So if you're Cuban, you can go to Thailand. I don't know about you, but I've been to Cuba, and I've never met a Cuban person anywhere outside of Cuba. I mean, have you ever met many Cuban people in Thailand? I haven't. Apparently, another country that is on the list of the 25 is Mongolia. So if there are any Mongolians watching, you could qualify for this STV visa. So good luck to you. Do Mongolians go on holiday? Do they? Jesus, I'll tell you what's something curious. I was in Istanbul once, some years ago. I was in Istanbul some years ago, and I was on a tour around, the Bosphorus, and I got chatting to these people, from Afghanistan. This couple from Afghanistan, and this was actually while the war was raging. I don't want to say that W word. That'll get me demonetized. And it just didn't occur to me. Afghanistan people go on holiday. They did anyway. Let's see. Jerry from De Facto Bar. I'm weighing up whether to visit Siberia or Death Valley in California next. Undecided. I'm sure both those places are fascinating, but when would you visit Siberia? See the ice cold of winter or the blazing hot sun of Death Valley? I've never been to either of those places, but I'm sure they'd be fascinating. Love to. Absolutely love to. Okay, what else? I had a beautiful Jeffrey Woods. I had a beautiful Cuban in Spain. I presume you're talking about a woman. I've never met a Cuban person outside of Cuba. Personally, maybe you have. You obviously have. I've met Colombians outside of Colombia. I've met them in the UK, and I met one of them once in she was like, I was in Amsterdam, and she was sort of and I seen her in the window, and she was waving at me through the window. This Colombian girl was waving at me from the window. I thought, I'll go in and have a chat to her. Yeah, yeah, not a good idea. She bloody ripped me off, cow. Anyway, last year I stayed in a hostel in Saigon. A room clean daily, swimming pool, breakfast including everything, and every 2 hours free beer, beds with privacy, curtains, lights, and power outlets. Well, that sounds like a good review. I notice you're not giving the name for away, but no, that sounds good. Dingus, okay. Morvey, I'm going to do the train from Europe to Mongolia. That sounds great. That sounds great. I don't know if that's the Orient Express that you're talking about. That sounds great. I'd like to do stuff like that, but I think I'm a little bit older. I think a lot of the adventure's gone out of me. Now, I've done a bit of adventure. I've done plenty of 18, 20-hour bus journeys to the Latin American countries and other places. I seem to recall doing one through India as well. But I don't really want to do that again. It's great to be able to say that you've seen the landscape, you've travelled through all those countries, and some of the highlights when you visit countries like that is the unexpected stuff. When your bus pulls into this beautiful, authentic rural village somewhere in Bolivia, and you get out there and you see a well. You didn't think a well like this exists. This is real authentic. This is not touristy. This is real authenticity. That is fantastic. It's some of those things are the stuff that you remember years on, rather than the main tourist sites. So I've done all those 20-hour bus tours, but I wouldn't really, really want to do them again. I don't think I'd want to do them again. You know. Internet Commander. Now he's got a good YouTube channel, Internet Commander. Yeah, a lot of good stuff on there. Come on, Edward, don't be confused. Let's go together to Colombia. I've been to Colombia. I have been to Colombia. I've said this before, but as far as all the beautiful, and the Colombians are a beautiful race of people. A beautiful race of people, especially the women. Yeah, but I didn't really explore it to the full, not the way I did with Brazil, simply because in the 6 months that I traveled around South America, Colombia came towards the end of it, and I think I was a bit worn out there from the travel. I'm talking about, a bit worn out from the travel. But a lot of people are mentioning Colombia. A lot of people are mentioning Colombia, so maybe it's worth another visit. Andrew Johnson, how am I, Eddie? Okay, nice to hear from you, Andrew. Really is good to hear from you. I don't know. I'm sort of lethargic. This is November. November's never a fun time in the UK anyway. But during this lockdown, well, to be honest with you, the lockdown doesn't make that much difference because most in an ordinary November, a lot of the bars and stuff where I live wouldn't be open anyway in November, or there'd only be a handful of people in them. So it just looks like a typical November to me. But what disturbs me, though, is the fact that this is going to go on a bit longer. This dreadful lockdown and all this rubbish that's going on right now isn't going to be over anytime soon. And my worst fear is that, flights will not resume by January. I really need to get on a plane early January. Really need to. I've got a couple of ideas of where to go. Really, really, I've got a couple of ideas where to go. January, February, March, I really want to be out traveling somewhere warm, maybe not too warm, maybe not too far away. I've got a few ideas floating around. But right now, at this moment in time, we are not allowed to leave the country. There's no flights right now anywhere. We can't leave the country now. This is November. Is this going to go on until December? Worse, is it going to go on until January? Somebody mentioned the other day that what do you think will happen is that this lockdown will not be over December the 2nd. It will go on for a couple more weeks, but they will reopen things for Christmas to allow people to celebrate Christmas. But, and this is the bit that I don't like, but they'll resume the lockdown in January and we'll be back to square one. Well, I don't know. I can't book a flight. Cannot book a flight. You don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or in 5 minutes time or whatever. You can't book a flight anywhere. Matt Lakin, we've done that joke anyway. No, I haven't. Okay. John Mitz, Colombians are an amazing mix of races. And the Colombians, and they are, that's a fast. I spent a month in Colombia during my travels. It's a beautiful country, absolutely beautiful, beautiful country. I crossed the border from, where was it, Ecuador? Yeah, from Ecuador into Colombia. And I remember stepping out of my hotel room in that strange border town. What was it called? Ipiales, I think it was, that border town in Colombia. Stepping out of there for the first time, and it was darkness. There was bars, and quite early in the evening, there was bars going, but it was night time. And when you're actually stepping out in Colombian soil for the first time, all the fear factor sort of kicks in. All what people have told you about the place. Yeah, Jesus, you'll get kidnapped, you'll get this, that, and the other. So I stepped out in this little strange border town for the first night, and within an hour, well, less than an hour, I was in bars with music. I was chatting away to Colombian people who were really, really friendly. The following night, I did something that is very, very unwise to do, extremely unwise to do. They say you shouldn't accept drinks from strangers. Apparently, what the Colombians like to do when they have a night out, they buy a bottle of rum and then they sit down at the table with it and share it all between them. And these Colombians, it were really fascinated the fact that they wanted to hear my very refined English accent. Yes, okay, yeah, they wanted to talk to me simply because they wanted to talk to an English person. I've had this before in Brazil as well, and even Vietnam. People, the locals, sometimes they think they're going to pick up the language if they talk to an English person. I don't really sound very English, but nevertheless, it's the thought that counts. But yet I sat down with these Colombian people and they were giving me shots of rum and all that. And to cut a long story short, I ended up staggering through this bloody strange town in Colombia, this border town. I seen a fast food sign, like, their version of KFC or whatever. I went in there, sat down, I pointed to some chicken, fried chicken. And the next thing I knew, I just crashed out in the chair. I woke up and some Colombian guy was giving me a glass of water to drink. It's crazy, for all the warnings in the world, you still do stupid things, like accept drinks from strangers and stack it through a strange town. But yeah, Colombia is a good place. I would like to visit that again. Really, really would. Crypto Alchemist, 10 minutes. Bart heading to 30. What is that? 30 baht to 30 baht to $1 or something. It might be similar to that. Yeah, it's about 40 for the UK pound. Tristan, Canary Islands it is then. It's not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. Not the most exciting place in the world. There's a lot of good things about the Canary Islands. Okay, let me just say what I've got here. Have I made any notes here that are interesting? Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, like I said, these visas, they're all they're very confusing. But there's a lot of disputes about people about what the rules are for the amount of money you've got in the bank statements, the 14 days quarantine plus 12 days, 12 days post quarantine. Oh, that's a bit better, isn't it? So it's not 28 days overall, it's only 26. Oh, Jesus, that's a weight off my mind. You have to tell them where you are. Uh, the STV, this is the confusion. The STV you used to have to have 500 Thai baht over 6 months, and oh, Jesus Christ, but not anymore. Oh, I don't know. It's all changed within 5 minutes, and people are disagreeing with each other, left, right, and centre about it. So the thing is, if you plan on visiting Thailand or whatever, it's Jesus, you've got to check with your entity and find the full solid facts. The way I say it, I go to a place like that to have fun. I really, really do. I've been able to step off a plane, get a taxi or a bus straight down to Pattaya, uh, have a quick shower in the hotel. Excuse me, a quick shower in a hotel room, and then 5 minutes later, I'm out in a massage parlor. Having a massage. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen. It's just not going to be the Thailand that we know. It really, really isn't. And I really do feel sorry for a lot of the people out there. People who've opened businesses, bar owners, those wonderful girls who work in the bars, the wonderful girls who work in the massage parlors and everything else. They're all going to have a tough time, far tougher. We may be miserable. We may be miserable in our country with our lockdowns and whatever, but at least we're going to have food on the table. We're going to have beer in the fridge. We're going to have electricity and God knows what else. A lot of those people are going to suffer big time. I'm really glad that I've never been tempted to open a bar or do anything like that out there because, it wouldn't be much fun right now. Let's see. Okay. Let's see, I was wondering. I went to Costa Rica, and the best girls with Colombia. Bradley, seven. I was wondering. I went to Costa Rica, and the best gals were from Colombia. Colombian girls are beautiful. Costa Rica. I've been to Costa Rica. I didn't have an encounter in Costa Rica, but it wasn't with the Costa Rican girls. It was actually from the Dominican Republic. Not one of my favourites. Not one of my favourites. Okay, time for another drink. I'll tell you what I'm going to have right now. I'm going to wrap this up soon because it's not an exciting week. There's total confusion with all these visas. You may notice I'm putting the emphasis on Thailand there. Why am I not talking about Cambodia or Vietnam? Very little news is actually coming out of those countries. I believe it's possible to go to Cambodia. And as far as I've heard, the 3,000 US dollars deposit is now being reduced to 2,000. That's the last I heard. The problem is, even if you even if you get past all the hurdles and all the rubbish of quarantine, prison, hotels, and all that, are you going to have any fun at the end of it all? I can imagine going through the bars in something like Phnom Penh, which have been wonderful in the past, absolutely amazing. But it's just not going to be the same, is it? And let me talk about after I poured myself a 3 barrels brandy. 1 litre bottle, by the way, 1 litre bottle, 16.99 from Morrison's. That's the best that I've got, actually. Bloody good stuff. Very tasty brandy, anyway. Okay, cheers. Oh, let me see. Anything more in the chat? Borrowing Bunny, I've ruled out Dominican Republic. Seen a few videos. It just looks like another Caribbean island with not much to say. I've heard good reports about the Dominican Republic. Really good reports about it. But, well, mixed reviews. But, I'm not going to mince words. I've seen quite a lot of YouTube videos on the Dominican Republic. And the women didn't really, I don't know, big bums. They all have big bums, tight leggings with showing off their big bums. Oh, heavens above. Let me see. What have we got now? What have we got now? Absolutely. Let me see. 564 people in the chat. I'm going to wrap this up quite soon. Butter and Bunny, I'm not keen on bubble butts either. I mean, about the girls in the Dominican Republic. What did they remind me of? When I was watching this, they sort of remind me of cartoon characters or cartoon paintings. Have you ever seen those paintings by that artist called Beryl Cook? Beryl Cook or Cook or whatever. She's these sorts of comic strip paintings of really large women with big butts. And when I was watching this video of the Dominican Republic, I couldn't help thinking about that. I mean, I'm sure there's some lovely, lovely ladies out there, but it's just not my type, really, not my type. Bold as ever, 3 bottles. Where's Jules Claron? I can't get any big bottles of that or see any offers on that nowadays. All I can see with the Jules Claron in these shops that I go to, the local shops, is little bottles, and I don't really like buying a little bottle of anything. But Jules Claron's bloody good. UK to Asia. What do you think of Laos? Laos. I've been to Laos. I once spent a few weeks there some years ago, and Laos it's a beautiful country. If you go up north, taking a slow boat through the Mekong, it's a beautiful country. But I've mentioned this before. But the thing about Laos is that Laos, it's a beautiful country, but the people are a bit. They don't have the same personality as the neighbouring countries. The Cambodians, Thais, Vietnamese, they're very funny people. They're charming people. They make you laugh. They make you feel good. The people of Laos are a bit, how can I put it, nondescript, forgettable. I crossed the border from one of those border towns in Cambodia into Laos, and I stayed at that lovely place called, I forget, was it called Thousand Rivers or something like that? Thousand Islands, something like that. I stayed there, and it was wonderful, beautiful scenery. And then travel right through the country, right up north. I stayed in a variety of towns and hotels, and I ate in restaurants, and went to bars and whatever. But a lot of the stuff closes very early of a night in Laos. It's a very, very sleepy place. But you know what? All the people I encountered in Laos, I can't really remember them. I could travel through Vietnam and remember lots of characters. Cambodia as well, Thailand. But the people in Laos are very forgettable. Did he put something in that drink that I was drinking out there or something? I don't know, but I can't really remember any of the people there. They just simply didn't have the same kind of personality that this neighbouring countries have. Let me see. It's Thailand bound. Have you had a tactical massage on Sukhumvit Soy 22? No. I've had a soapy massage in that area, and that was bloody good, absolutely fantastic. The thing what I've said about soapy massage in the past, one of those little soys around the Nana Sukhumvit area is fantastic for soapy massages. Oh my God almighty, absolutely amazing. But I went to, I was hovering around the daytime looking for the right massage girl, and I swear, I saw, oh my God, I'm like the most beautiful, beautiful Thai girl that I've ever seen. She was like a Barbie doll, absolutely amazing. 33 years old, absolutely stunning. And, I went in there and I had a soapy with her. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God almighty. I went back about 3 or 4 times, I'd wandered up and down there, just when she was available, and she wasn't there, then I'd just keep wandering. But, about 3 or 4 times, and she was the most amazing, absolutely charming girl. Thais, can be beautiful people. They can be beautiful people. They really can. Absolutely amazing. But you know what? There was one day I was looking for her, and she just wasn't there. I just couldn't get her. Went there a few times. I thought, oh, what the hell? So I went for a soapy, Bangkok soapy with another girl, a younger girl. She's about 25 years old, something like that. Not quite in the same league as my favourite. But I went with the soapy massage. Now, bearing in mind, I'd been suffering from a little bit of the sniffles, a bit of a cold. I think it was to do with the aircon in my hotel room. But I went with this younger girl, and Jesus, the worst. She was a lovely girl, beautiful girl. But the worst thing is, she got that aircon wrong. It was freezing in there. It's a very freezing, wet environment. The aircon was at a terrible cold temperature, and I come out of there shivering. Gee, I couldn't wait to get out of there. For all the wonders of the soapy massage and all that goes with it, I couldn't wait to get out of there. I was absolutely perishing in there. So if anyone's thinking about a soapy massage, just if you have any colds or you've had any coughs or colds, be wary. It could be bloody cold in there. Make sure they get the temperature right. Let me have a look. Lauer's nice. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Lauer's nice. Okay. Okay, let me see. Shock City Rocker. My Thai girlfriend tried to kill me, but besides that, she was great. Okay, that's good. That's good to hear anyway. Every cloud has a silver lining, as they say. Baba, Malaysia's nice, Kel, good city, plenty of. I went to Malaysia years ago, many, many years ago, and I didn't think they were as friendly as the other people. But not against Malaysians. I'm sure you're all very, very nice people there. But they're another one. They get very, very, shirty if they see you with a camera in their hand. They get quite hostile about it. They seem to be weren't as friendly, but I don't know. Maybe if I went to other places there, but that's a place. We're talking like this right now at this moment in time. None of these places are open to us. None of them are. Malaysia, Burma, a country that I've never been to. I'd love to go to Burma. That's that's closed. They all are. They're not on the cards right now. Mr. Handsome, Laos is nice. It certainly is. 7-Eleven, Jakarta is good. We don't talk like that on this show. This is a clean family entertainment show. And if you believe that, you believe anything. Mr. Mitch, it's kind of like what you do in the shower, but a lady's doing it for you, yeah? Okay, terrific. Great to hear from you, Mr. Mitch. Malaysia's great. Shrinkage, yeah, absolutely. Well, I am 58 years old, so what do you expect? Rob Bellamy, Eddie, I hear you like the Ladyboys. Is that true, mate? It's okay, Eddie. Yeah, okay. I'm not against Ladyboys. All right. Like them in what way exactly? In what way do I like the Ladyboys? No, I'll say hello to them. If a Ladyboy's serving me a meal in a restaurant, then I won't say, keep that person away. That's a lady. I'll still accept a meal. You know what I mean? But no, not for me, mate. Not for me. I like girls, women. I like women. Okay. No, somebody's put, Pepper's put, what about Kenya? The women are beautiful. Well, I'll tell you what, the only African country I've ever been to is Ethiopia. I went there for a month some years ago, and I don't know, just certain aspects of it a bit disgusting, I mean. Well, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way, with regards to, third world, very, very third world aspects. And, I have been noticing when somebody makes me angry, I do tend to say to him, sir, you're about as charming as an Ethiopian toilet. Because, if you actually caught sight of an Ethiopian toilet, you know what I'm talking about. Ethiopia is, it was a great traveling experience, very, very third world, amazingly cultural. But I believe they're having serious problems now. They're having terrible problems. Look at the news. So no, as for Kenya, never ever been there. Never been there. No, I think I'll give it a miss. Travel tour taste. Hello, Edward. Oh, well, hello to you anyway. Hello to you. Ernest Connell, Madagascar, women will drag you into the jungle. Madagascar, women will drag you into the jungle. Well, is that a good or a bad thing? What are they going to drag you there to mug you or so? I don't know. Nice to hear from you, Ernest, anyway. Some good Thailand bound some good countries in Africa. It's not all crime. I had a good time in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Yeah, oh, well, Congo, I believe that's a beautiful place. I'd love to see the wildlife there. Now, what I meant to talk about before I go, we're on an hour and 4 minutes anyway. We survived this far anyway. I still haven't had my pork pie yet. I'm going to tuck into that pretty soon. Maybe I'll wait till the live stream's over with. But what I wanted to talk about is right now at this moment in time, let's say we get through all the confusion of all the visas and these rules. I can't bring you total definitive details about visas here. There's plenty of YouTube channels to do that. But these rules are, if you even look at the comments of them, these rules are changing every 5 minutes, and it's all getting a bit bizarre. It's not the visa that's putting people off. It's that 2 week quarantine and possibly, the prospect of being followed around for another 2 weeks after that. That's the thing that's going to wipe out the tourism this winter. Until they get rid of that 2 week quarantine, it's a no-go. It's a no-go. Sorry to say that. What I wanted to talk about is about desperation, really. Imagine you did go through all the hoops and the hurdles and everything, and you do find when you're released into Thailand, when you finally release, at least in the hotel and the quarantine and all this kind of stuff, you think, okay, now's the time. After all of that, I'm going to start enjoying myself. I'm going to go and hit the bars and all that. From what I've seen, I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it right now, because the fact is, you hear different things. Some people say Pattaya is great value, and it's because a lot of the bars are closed, which would make me fairly miserable. Imagine walking around the Pattaya when all the streets are dark and there's no music playing, and all those bars that you know and love are all closed. That's depressing enough as it is. But there's obviously only a handful of bars that are actually open, because you can't run a tourist industry without tourists. But some people say, it's still really good. But what a lot of people are saying right now, and I hear this time and again, is that there's a lot of bargains to be had in places like Pattaya, because the people, the girls are a little bit desperate for custom. There's a lot of bargains to be had, for drinks and everything else. And I thought about that, so if you did manage to get there, you maybe could have a cheap holiday. Personally, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that, because I've got a heart, and I don't like to see desperation. I do not like to see people struggling to make a living. People who go out and they want to work. I really feel for those people out there working in tourist industry. They're going to have a dreadful time. They're going to have a terrible time. There's a lot of those great people who work in the bars and those great, lovely girls. They're going to suffer big time simply because there's no customers. It's heartbreaking to think about it. But also, I wouldn't feel comfortable if I went past, say a row of bars that happened to be open, and there was lots of bar girls in there, and they were screaming out, hello, sexy man, come in, have a drink and all that. I wouldn't like that, because I don't like to see desperation. And also, if I did go into a bar and there was, a dozen bar girls in there, and I was the only bloke, then I'd be the target. Would get hassled a lot. And I've been in that situation before, and I wouldn't like it. In the past, this is not the first, recession or whatever that we've been through in these places. During the last recession, about 10, 11 years ago, something like that. I remember I went into a lot of those bars in Cambodia, and I'd go into a bar, and Jesus, there was so many beautiful girls there, absolutely beautiful bar girls. I'd go in there, and I was the only bloke. A friend of mine used to accompany me a lot of the time. We were the only ones there, basically. And obviously, we got hassled by a lot of the girls, not in an oppressive way. I mean, it was great. I mean, I've told people back in the UK, when they've never been to these places, what are these places like? I said, well, if it's a quiet time, you can get hassled by the girls. And your average man in the street who knows nothing, who's never experienced this, will say, getting hassled by all of the girls, fantastic. I mean, Jesus, imagine going to a bar and all these lovely ladies are there, and they're targeting you. But it's not always a good feeling. That it sounds brilliant. I mean. It does remind me when I was a kid. Though I used to watch Elvis movies on the TV. Elvis, the King, wonderful. But I remember when I was a kid, watching Elvis movies, and I remember seeing one where he's walking through the jungle, You ain't nothing but strutting his funky stuff, singing to himself, and all of these beautiful girls come from behind the coconut trees and start following him. And I thought, Jesus, that's what I want to do when I'm old. I want to be like Elvis. I want to walk through the jungle and all these beautiful bikini babes come out of nowhere and start following me. It's fantastic. But the fact is, that's fantasy. In the reality of it, if you go into some of these bars and you're the only guy in there, or you might be with a friend, maybe only two of you who've gone into that bar, there's something a little bit sad about it. There is a bit sad about it. I've actually been in bars and all these girls are being surrounding me. They all want to drink. They all want to touch you up, and they all want to do this, that, and the other. And really, it may sound like a dream, all these beautiful girls surrounding you. But when a few guys then come through the door of that bar, it's a relief, really. It's a relief to see other fellas coming in there because it takes the pressure off you. And you don't feel so bad then. You know what I mean? I just feel, it would depress me. I'm sorry to say this, but it would depress me because I don't like to see desperation. I don't like the thought that a lot of those girls who are not earning the money that they should be earning. And you can make what you please of that. You make what you please of that. I don't think I'd have a good time there. I really don't. Not in the current circumstances. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, David Mayer, you need a drink. Okay, I'm going to have my beautiful 3 barrels brandy. Listen, I've been waffling for an hour and 11 minutes now. Well, I must have been waffling because it wasn't planned on. I didn't think I had that much to talk about this week. There isn't a great deal to talk about, but there's nothing positive. Thailand isn't going to open in a big way anytime soon. These visas, the rules are just getting a little bit garbled, really. I just think they're getting a bit garbled. So, still 535 people in the chat. Anyway, great to have you here. Like I said earlier, my videos actually ran out around about, was it June or something like that, for my last traveling adventure. It ran about June. So I thought, what's going to happen now? Lockdown, all this kind of rubbish. So how can I keep this channel alive? I really, really, really want to stay connected with you guys up there. It's meant a lot to me. And that's why I just got in the habit of doing these live streams once a week. It's great when you can come into a live stream and have something, a subject, a hot topic that is really, really, really worth talking about. But I don't think there is any real hot topics right now at this moment in time. Southeast Asia, is off the equation right now for this year. So all I'm thinking about, if I can get on an airplane out of here beginning of January, and that's a big if, because at this moment in time, there's no flights anywhere, then I'll be able to do something a bit different. And, it's probably not what I want to do, but we'll see anyway. Boulder Zephyr. Randy Mack, by the way, good evening to you. Boulder Zephyr, it's a bit strange when they surround you and grab you. Well, it's not really strange, really. It's they're after something, aren't they? They're motivated. They're motivated by money. That's why they work in the bars. But there's been many, many times where when people, friends of ours, in the UK, who've never really had the opportunity to go to these countries. They hear all these stories and what they're like, and I always tell the truth. I tell exactly the way it is. And I say we. Google's urging me. Where did Google get this idea during my live streams that I want to start doing yoga? Is it the way that I'm sitting or something? Do I look like a guy who suddenly wants to start bloody doing yoga? I keep getting this message from Google. Anyway, what was it talking about? Yeah, I've encountered many guys who never really experienced Southeast Asia, and the idea of them walking into a bar and there being so many beautiful girls surrounding them and hassling them, like, Jesus, that is a dream come true, a dream come true. But the thing is, I under the current circumstances, I wouldn't like that. It can be real. I wouldn't like to see desperation. I don't like to see people who are prepared to go out and work struggling to make money. I really don't like to see that, so. My thoughts are with them. Okay, my thoughts are with them. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon anyway. Still 524 people in the chat anyway. Hello to you all. I'll recommend three barrels. Let's have a little bit more about the chat before we wrap this up. Jeffrey Wood, Moroccan girl's beautiful and easy to get. Morocco's not that far away, is it, from where I am? It's not that far. Oh, well, keep me posted about that one. Redmondo 777. I missed the show, Eddie. You should go for 2 hour shows. I did want, but I think about an hour's enough. I think I'd start pretty bored of myself if I started going on anywhere longer than that. Richard, the way Thailand's behaving, I really am going off the place. Well, is it ever going to be the Thailand that we know, that we know and love from years ago? Things are changing. Southeast Asia is changing. Lots of things are changing, but we can sit around and talk about the changes. Look at the way Cambodia is changing. Magnificent little country. Absolutely love that country to bits over the years. Siam Reap, still a fantastic place. Phnom Penh, marvellous city. Not to everyone's taste, but I loved it. But the problem with Cambodia now is, the Chinese influence, would you believe? Sihanoukville. Sihanoukville, it's a Chinese casino city by the sea. Where the hell did that come from? I went to Sihanoukville every year for many, many years. And I was in a few places chatting to other travellers. And they said, where do you go? I said, I'm heading to Sihanoukville. Oh, that's full of Chinese people and casinos. I said, no, it isn't. This all seemed to happen within a year. I was in Sihanoukville early last year, less than a year ago. But they kept mentioning Chinese people, the casinos. I don't recall any of that. And all of a sudden I went there and, Jesus, the rest is history. Bloody awful. Turned it into a building site. I mean, I don't know what Sihanoukville looks like right now, but I'm pretty sure it's not the Sihanoukville that I know and love. Charles Olivia, you need the best of series. Well, maybe, you never know. You never know. Well, I've reinvented this channel through these live streams anyway. I mean, the idea is for you guys to come together each week, because a lot of you watching this, you're travelers like me. You love going to Southeast Asia and other places in the wintertime, winter sun, having fun in the sun and all the rest of it. But the fact is that right now, this is such a bizarre, crazy year. Hopefully we'll never ever see the likes of it again. I think everyone would agree that the year 2020 it was coming to a close, and we'll be glad to see the back of it. It's been a dreadful year, so let's just be miserable together, keep in touch, and hope that next year is better. Rude Potato. I'm not going to repeat what you said, but you sort of live up to your name. Okay. Graham Johnson, Eva Air are flying to Bangkok. Oh, yeah, that is something that I want to mention. This is another message. Apparently, Thai Airways are going from London to Bangkok again. I don't know. You got to go. All this visa stuff is just getting me head down. Remember, they maybe Eva Air are flying to Bangkok. Fine, Eva Airways. I've been with them many, many times. Terrific airline, Taiwanese. But the fact is that it still doesn't manage to get us over all this quarantine stuff. Okay, listen, I'm gonna wrap things up very, very soon. I'll start eating my pork pie later anyway. Okay, listen, I'm sorry that there's nothing really cheerful to talk about this week. Quick look through the chat. Still plenty of chat. Listen, thanks for all the super chats, everybody, by the way. Peter Blue, how's the brandy? I would rate 3 barrels. Very, very highly. I got that for 60 and 99 out of Morrison's last week, and that's a litre bottle, and it is bloody good. I have lots of other stuff that I drink, but the 3 barrels is a nice brandy. It's not the expensive stuff, but I think it would give the expensive stuff a run for its money, which is why I keep drinking it. Okay, listen, I'm gonna, Mr. Mitch, thanks, mate. All the best, anyway. Thanks, all the best. Always good to hear from you. Hope all's well with you in Seattle. Okay, I'm going to say good night. Thank you. God bless you. Let's hope that next week that we've got something a bit more positive to talk about. This week, it's just, I don't think there is anything positive. I think it's just confusion right now. But it's lockdown. at the end of the day, we're still together. I'm really, really, really thrilled for all you guys who have still continued to watch these live streams. I'm hopefully going to do them every week until until basically there's not more to be said. But thanks for your company. Good luck to everybody. Let's hope for some more positive news very, very soon. And cheers.